Mild trauma. Hey guys, it's Amy here, back again with another video. I have already seen a bunch of NaNoWriMo and Preptober videos floating about, so I decided it was time for me to add my 2 cents. For those unaware, NaNoWriMo is a global writing community challenge in which during the month of November you are challenged to write an entire novel. That is 50,000 words. But that's just the typical version of it. Some people like to make their goals a little bit more flexible depending on what projects they are working on and what they know they will be able to achieve. And you may notice this is the first time I have done a video with the words NaNoWriMo in the title. No progress videos, no write live streams. I don't even think any of my videos start with the letter N. I actually checked when I wrote this in the script, and that fact is actually true. But I did in fact take part this one year, all the way back in 2019. The glory days where we didn't have to worry as much about getting sick. But one thing I could not tell in hindsight was how NaNoWriMo made me hate my novel. This was a creation that I literally came up with 2 weeks beforehand. I'll go more into that in the video. I will be exploring now what made me hate my novel when I wrote it in NaNoWriMo, why I even decided to do the event, and of course the question, will I ever do one again? So it was about mid-October of 2019 that this idea for a novel sprung into my head, a steampunk fantasy called The Fall of the Clockwork Queen. I think I mentioned this in a Forever First Drafts video. If I did, I will link it, in the cards. This was a steampunk fantasy in which a motley crew teams up to prevent the assassination of a, frankly, tyrannical queen while also trying to work their own agendas out. You know what? I ended up hating this story so much, I'm just gonna spoil it like crazy. One of them wanted to not get arrested, one of them just wanted to get the queen off their back, one of them had blackmail that the other was willing to reveal, and another one was a sorcerer of some kind, which was bad because of their nobility background. I don't know why. The world building in that was weird in retrospect. They find out that the assassin comes from a neighboring city, which I do not remember the name of, and they decide to track them down while staying with one of the noble's cousins. They find more clues, and then they attend a gala in which the Clockwork Queen in question attends, even though she was not supposed to, and the queen gets assassinated there. And then the kingdom fell into the hands of someone even more tyrannical, who was the one who was actually doing all these assassinations. And so the motley crew does a whole rescue each other thing, and then we gotta go and save the city. And they do it. Yay, problem solved. Okay, that took a bit longer to explain than I expected. Now this seemed like a good story to work out and outline midway through October. It seemed to give me plenty of time to work out the order of everything, the kinks and things that needed to be fixed in the outline and character building stage from far back. It was the perfect time because I just finished my university exams and I needed to do something for the summer break. And November happened to be part of that summer break. The best way to do it was doing what I loved, writing! Needless to say, I forgot one significant problem. My Christmas job. By then, I knew that I had gotten into it. And at least 1 week into November, my Christmas job was set to start. Initially, it started off as like 20 hours a week, but then it went up to 30 hours and eventually 40 hours. And that was when December came around. But November was the only thing that we had to worry about. We were going to be working way less in November according to the contract and my bosses. And when I look back on it now, I don't think what I planned and outlined was quite enough. It felt quite empty, especially the characters. An aspect that I want to make sure is refined more than anything else. That was a bit out of character for me, as a character-driven story writer. Now you may notice that I haven't mentioned whether I succeeded or failed during NaNoWriMo. I never gave up on that particular challenge. Here's why. When I first started, of course, I didn't have that Christmas job. And the first task that I would do every single day was get my writing done. Well, no, not the first, I had to wake up, get out of bed, eat breakfast, do my household chores. And the part that I was writing at the beginning of this challenge was also the part that I had solidified the most. When it comes to a lot of my writing, I'm able to solidify a lot of the beginning and a lot of the end. It's just that sagging middle. Everything was going as well as I would have liked. I knew there were flaws initially, but I just rolled through them because I knew I had to get those words on that paper. I was very happy with my progress. I met all of my daily goals for NaNoWriMo during that time. Even adding on a few more days of flexibility just because of how on a roll I was. I was making very good time and very good progress to start off with. Now, I wasn't part of any streams. I wasn't on YouTube at all while doing this. I might have tweeted about my progress or something, but I cannot be bothered to go and check. I didn't end up doing much community stuff surrounding NaNoWriMo. But that didn't matter because I was using the official website every day, inputting the new word count goals that I kept on meeting. The tracker, the word counts, the graphs. Every little incline just boosted my serotonin levels. Oh, what joy it was to beat these little goals. Those 2,000 or so words a day. That was what got me going. Not the actual story I was writing. I say that's how I felt towards the middle of the month and going into the second half. Then I started that Christmas job. I was at an age where I had never worked more than 10 hours a week with previous jobs. Both part-time jobs throughout the school year and my Christmas-based jobs. I was expecting it to work out the same, but no! I got more hours, which was both a blessing and a curse because uni students, we need money, we broke. I say we like I'm still a uni student. So I quickly found out that having all these hours build up so quickly was a little damaging. Especially when I also had to write 2,000 words a day. It became eat, sleep, get paid, write, repeat. And oh god, how I did not want to write some days. But I did. Somehow I did. Which is astonishing considering nowadays I'm writing every 3 days, if I'm lucky. And you could see that in my writing because I was already a burnt out cranky pants. I was seeing everything wrong with my novel as a result. But I had to keep doing it. I kept writing each boring piece of dialogue, each shallowly outlined action sequence. The ones that were all there just to make things exciting. They were boring. And then in the late 20s of November came the beat in my outline, which I like to call everything goes to shit. When my work hours had once again increased. Literally, as I finished the all hell goes to loose scene, I hit the 50k mark. And I didn't touch that draft ever again. I was done with Clockwork Queens by then, and I even decided that I was done with NaNoWriMo. Looking back now, it's obvious why I resent Nano so much. It was a busy period of my life. I got trapped by shiny new idea syndrome. I cared more about the word count than what was actually going into my story because that's what the challenge was telling me mattered. I didn't plan things well enough. I didn't have the right support at the time. But to this day, because of how much affected it, I do not know if I didn't write that scenario with Nano, if I would have even liked it. I know I may not be alone in this kind of situation, but so many environmental influences existed as well as the bad things that were happening in the story as I wrote it, that I am unsure which one was worse, the outside or the inside. So it made me feel like Nana was a bad idea for me, and the lifestyle that I had back then. So, would I try it again? I might. But right now, I'm still too nervous to try. I don't have a Christmas job, I have a full-time job. But I still feel like it could make impacts in bad ways. And this year would also be a bad year because November happens to be the month in which I am part of a musical theater production. It's literally the month where we have our tech rehearsals, our dress rehearsals, and actually performing the show. I don't even know if I want you guys to convince me to do it or not. When I can, I'll see if I can tune into some write-in live streams just to get some work on Maledicts done, but I'm not gonna be a full participant for at least another year. That's the story of my NaNoWriMo nightmare. My NaNoWriMo? No. Stop before you start. What have been your own experiences for NaNoWriMo? Comment below if you're doing it this year, and I hope I didn't put you off it too much. But if you did enjoy this little story I had, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new around here. You can ring that bell to find out when I post more creative content. Now, there was a novel that I did not write during NaNoWriMo that turned out great. ASTER'S CODA Exposure, a portal fantasy in which Abby Tacker dives into the three worlds. Head to the description now to get it in ebook and paperback format. While you're there, you can also check out my Instagram, my Fiverr, my TikTok, and my website. Stay creative, everybody, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.